children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life, longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are...
Every movement begins with a step of courage. Along our path, the steps of courage were accompanied by music. Our music. Every song, every step was one of courage.
The movement began without a name, in different places, and by groups of people pushed too far. Men who were tired of hiding out in the open.
And women, tired of hiding behind a weaker face.
Every step was about using music to change the world.
Or at least the world where they lived. What is it about singing that as we entertain each other with our music, it creates in us a place of safety where we can heal ourselves and strengthen our resolve? It was this idea that led the women's movement in the 1970s to use music to increase the volume of their voice.
Women's choirs, when they got started more as grassroots organizations. The most important thing was to connect up with other social change issues that were going on, and the women's choirs were more of an arm of the movement. We called ourselves Anacrusis Women's Choir, and I should say from the beginning that it was very important to me to have a choir composed of lesbians and straight women. And that's what we would say. Those were the only two categories that we were dealing with in the 70s. So I want to say that. We're not transgendered, not bisexual in those days.
Our mission is to enrich the community through...
And our mission is building community and creating social change.
Heartland Men's Chorus exists to provide excellence in performance.
Our mission statement is building community through music.
Building community and reaching
We're kind of like, we call ourselves the illegitimate love child of Monty Python and NSYNC.
Singing is the most vulnerable of all arts because it is ultimately the most personal expression any human can demonstrate.
You know, people are annoying. You know, we're all very annoying to each other, and it's kind of hard to be in community. And the thing about coming together you come together for a 2-hour chorus rehearsal, and you get to be with people in a way that just transcends all of the ways that we annoy each other. You know, it allows you to, you know, as a director, you know, I mean, I pretty much like almost everybody I come into contact with. Once in a while somebody is problematic for me, but for the most part what you get when you're standing in front of a chorus is the most beautiful aspect of people coming at you. You know, you get people focused and in the moment.
Few places that I can think of where you can go and meet and become more than just kind of surface acquaintances with, but true friends with people who are so different from yourself.
I think it's so wonderful about being a singer and being in a chorus is that everyone deserves beauty in their lives. And I think that for so many of us, I'm crying, for so many of us growing up, you see a lot of ugliness, and that can come in many forms. It could be abusive, it could be physically abuse, it could be verbally abuse. So you struggle to find a light, and you struggle to find beauty. And so when you sing, and when you hear music, I think for a lot of us, it transports you to a place where there's happiness and there's joy and there's light. I'm sorry.
For anyone who has ever attended a Gala festival, they understand the power of coming together and connecting through song.
1,000 people saw us, and while we were walking through the corridor, they all ran over to the larger concert hall. And so what ended up happening was overcapacity, because the people were already sitting there waiting for the second set. By the time we got there, it was almost like a rock concert. There was no room in the aisles. People were sitting on the floors. They had all of the doors open all around, and everyone was like out in the hallways, and it was bedlam, but it was amazing. The minute that we lifted our voices, 3,000 people, like 3,000 LGBT brothers and sisters just embraced us, and there was nothing like it for me.
We had heard that it would be a different experience than we've ever had, because in Cincinnati, we're not a very large community, so a lot of the people that come to hear us have heard us 50 million times, and they come to every concert, and it was like being a diva for a day.
The gala events that I've been to, it's been very exciting. I mean, probably the most energy that I've ever experienced has been at gala festivals. Phenomenal.
Whether a chorus has 15 people or 150, there's the same enthusiasm and acceptance and support and love that you can feel on stage.
It's the music that drives us. It's the music that brings us together.
My conviction is that we need to make sure that we don't lose that special identity that has made us gay and lesbian choruses.
And maybe this is something that the gay and lesbian choruses have in common, whether they're men's, women's, or mixed, and whatever they're doing. You know, they're these kind of big messages, you know, you are not alone, is a huge message for people to hear, for anyone to hear, but particularly we know that there are people in our community, gay and lesbian people, that really need to hear it so badly.
As GALA looks to its future, it finds itself coming full circle back to the voices that began the song 25 years ago. Women's and men's voices continue to tell the stories that are relevant to our lives, both separately and together.
Somehow there are themes that seem really to be sung well by a large group of women, and especially by a large group of middle-aged and older women who have got a lot of wisdom, you know.
We're doing something that educates, that entertains, that enriches people.
And of course, there's the excellence in the music that healed and strengthened and grew to something beyond the bounds of the GLBT community.
The musical excellence of these choruses has grown far greater in 25 years than anyone could have ever expected.
It's given me my voice. Saved my life.